So I have really been thinking about my favorite meals recently, and I got to thinking about one of my favorite meals that was so easy, that was kind of like a little treat, because my mom made it for me when my dad was out of town or not home for supper, because it wasn't one of his favorites. So it was like a little treat for us. Like, we knew we were going to get to have this if dad was out of town traveling for some reason, and that is just chicken and rice. Plain old chicken and rice. And I am gonna add a little bit to it. I'm gonna add a little bit of bacon, a little bit of broccoli. But that was just like part of my childhood. It's like, oh, we get to have chicken and rice tonight. Like, I was so excited for it, and it's so simple, so easy, and so quick. So I bet my mom was happy about that too after working all day. Let me show you how to make this one. Welcome back to Planet in the South. So the first thing I'm gonna prep is my broccoli, and I'll tell you why I'm prepping my broccoli first. It is very calculated, so that I can use this same cutting board or a little cutting slip to cut my chicken on. So if I do my veggie first, I can cut my chicken on it later, but I can't do chicken then veggie because cross-contamination. So take your broccoli, if you have fresh broccoli. If not, use frozen broccoli. It works really well in this, but I just happen to have a big thing of broccoli and I don't want it to go bad, so that's why I'm adding it. Broccoli is totally optional also. If you don't want it in there, then don't have it. But it gets my veggie and it makes my chicken and rice a little prettier. Because we know I'm all about the pretty plates. So take your broccoli and get it chopped up. You want it to be pretty small pieces, okay? So I would say like 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch pieces. So go ahead and get that all chopped up. When your broccoli's all chopped up, just put it in a bowl and set it to the side. I probably have about 2.5, 3 cups here, but how much ever you have or how much ever you like. Next, we're gonna get working on our chicken. So I have a chicken breast here that is almost all the way thawed. And I'm working with it just like this. I actually kind of prefer it this way when I have to cut it. So I have 2 small chicken breasts here. And I am just going to cube these up into about 1-inch cubes. I could keep the chicken breast whole, but actually I prefer it to be in little chunks. So let's take these and just cube them into 1-inch cubes. So I have my chicken cubed up here, and now I'm gonna season it. So I have a little bit of adobo all-purpose seasoning. If you don't have adobo, I hear sometimes people don't have my seasonings. If you don't happen to have the seasonings that I'm using, almost every recipe I have probably started out with me using onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, and Tony's. So if you have those, what was that, 5 things in your pantry, you can make almost any of my recipes. I do expand when I see something cool at the store. If I've thrown one out, then I'll pick a new one up. I had to kind of start that rule because I was running out of cabinet space. So get it all seasoned up, adobo, paprika for a little color, and I touch chicken. People don't like to touch chicken. I don't really care. Like, no raw meat product is bothering me at this point in my life. So get that all together there to where every piece is pretty well seasoned. I can see it a little bit, but not enough. So I'll season with my eyes. Not enough. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Chicken seasoned up, let's get our skillet going. And before you get started, make sure that your skillet has a lid. Make sure that that lid fits that skillet. Because I don't know how many times I've thought that the lid went with the skillet and it did not. So double check before you get started. And we are going to turn this on to medium heat and let that oil heat up for just a couple minutes. While that oil's heating up with the skillet, let me show you what I just got to add to my kitchen. And I think I got it from the TikTok shop, more than likely. But they are magnets. And I was very mad when I tried to stick them right here. And I guess it didn't stick. So they go right here. But let me zoom in so you can read a couple of them. So they're Dr. Now, and I want to come over here while I'm cooking so I don't eat too much. I do not look like I'm malnourished, and people lie, not the scale. You're not gonna starve. I need that one often because I always act like my food's going away. Why you eat so much? A very gentle reminder to not eat so much. But I think they are hilarious. Now that my oil has heated up in my skillet, I am just going to place my chicken in there, and I am not going to cook my chicken all the way through. I just want it to get a little color on the sides because I'm going to keep it in here and let it cook with the rice and the broccoli and all that. So just lay it all in there in your skillet, probably about 2 to 3 minutes total. and let it get some color, but it doesn't have to be cooked all the way through. When your chicken is white on both sides, doesn't have to be fully cooked, 1 cup of rice, and this is just regular rice, not minute rice. Add that to the skillet. When you've got your 1 cup of rice in the skillet, you are going to do 2 1/4 cups of chicken broth or water, whatever you have. Add that to your skillet. Give that a stir. Now give it just a minute or 2 and turn your fire up so that you can get that chicken broth or that water boiling. It will take no time whatsoever. When that happens, go ahead and turn your fire back down and pop your lid on it and let it sit. Don't touch it for 10 minutes. After you've had your chicken and rice in the skillet cooking for about 10 minutes with the lid on, pop the lid off and let's throw your broccoli in there and then give it a good stir. Pop the lid back on and let that cook down for about another 15 minutes or so. So when I've got about 5 or so minutes left on my chicken and rice, I am going to get some sourdough bread sliced up. So my second attempt making sourdough loaf, an artisan loaf, turned out much, much better. Okay, I got the top a little brown. I was worried about the inside not being done. It looks so good and it tastes so good. Like this tastes like sourdough. Okay, we'll just ignore the top there. Just look at the rest. I tried to do a little scoring design. It takes time. I'll figure it out. But this one is 100 times better than the first one I made. So I have hope, and the sourdough starter continues to live at this house until I move on to something else. But maybe I'll keep this one for a while. I don't know. So I'm just gonna slice up a couple of pieces of sourdough, put some butter and some garlic salt on it, and put it in my air fryer on the toaster oven setting, and have me a little piece of crispy bread with my chicken and rice when it gets done. So while I'm buttering the sourdough, I just have a question. So how should I keep my sourdough bread? Like after I'm done cooking it for like on the counter for the next couple days, I know you shouldn't put it in the fridge. Like, what do I keep it in? So I have it like in a bowl with a lid right now. I don't think that's right either, but I'm really not sure. So if anyone knows how to keep bread, like sourdough bread that you make at home, like, can you give me an idea of what to do there? Because I'm just not sure. So if anyone has any insight there, I would greatly appreciate it, as I am new to my sourdough era. Butter and garlic salt. And this is also kind of funny because my mom would make this like bread, but she would get like the white baguettes from Walmart. They're like $1, and she would do this exact thing, put like garlic powder or garlic salt on it with butter and put it in the oven to broil, and we called it French bread. I'm like, Mom, are we having French bread tonight? And back then we ate a lot of carbs and we had a lot of French bread, and it was a good childhood. I'm very happy that I had a mom that made me French bread. I'm gonna put it like this. I'm gonna put it on the toast setting for like 3 minutes and get it a little bit brown and all melted on top. After about 15 minutes, let's take this over so you can see better, but take the lid off of it. You got your broccoli, your rice, and your chicken in there. Everything's cooked. But now, let's zhuzh it up a little bit. So I'm gonna take about 2 tablespoons of cream cheese. And now I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of milk. And I'm gonna start with 2, could possibly need 3. And now I'm gonna give this a good stir. This is just gonna make it a little bit more creamy without using like cream of mushroom soup. I'm trying to make this a little bit lower calorie than what I would traditionally make with a cream of mushroom soup. Add it in and make it really creamy like that. We can do the same thing here with less calories. Okay, so it should look about like that now. Just a tad bit of creaminess. And now I am going to add something that I just thought about because I had these bacon crumbles. So bacon bits essentially, because chicken, bacon, all of this always goes together. So I'm gonna top it with some bacon here. And then I'm gonna top this whole thing with cheese. Any type of shredded cheese that you have. We've got a nice layer of cheese. Let's put that back on the stove on low and put the lid on it just until the cheese is melted. Probably about 3 minutes or so. We're almost done. And here's my plate. I have my cheesy chicken and rice skillet with a little bit of broccoli and bacon added. And then I have my sourdough toast with butter and garlic salt on it. It smells so good. And this brings me back to my childhood where we had one of my favorite meals Hope you try this one soon.